Last episode before Afghanistan. We're out of petrol in the desert and we can't buy any. One of the most epic fortresses in the world that nobody comes to see. Many things that are tasty, many things that are not so tasty, and many things that are absolutely unforgettable. No matter how hard I try. Come join the ride. We're ready to set off for the Bam castle. Hans is now also a professional moto vlogger.
Yeah, very professional.
And I have my new bags on. They're not Enduristan, but I think they will do. Somehow my bags are still full, so I don't know how that works. Today's gonna be a short day. In terms of riding, we're not going very far. And I can already tell I put the bags the wrong way around because they're digging into my knees. I was aiming for aerodynamic, but I guess aerodynamic the other way around is gonna be better. What Hans has done, see those on his bike. A bit of a misadventure or misfortune with the bags. The guy shipping them to us was promising them for days and we kept waiting and waiting. It's been a pretty big delay. Hans is fully assimilated into the Iranian driving culture. So yeah, we've only got about 200 kilometers to go. We have arrived at our guest house and this place certainly might be, we will see, one of my favorites by far in Iran. It's so beautiful and green. I think this was a good choice. Looks very pretty.
Well, looks nice.
Finally some green.
Are these lemons or
Different kind.
in the back? Palms? Are those dates?
It could be, I guess. This looks like dates. Hi.
Okay.
Okay.
I think.
My name is Rahim.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Hannes.
Good morning. We are now in Bam. Yesterday we arrived kinda late and I am struggling to get any sleep lately for God knows what reason. But today we're gonna explore our host.
Good morning, how are you?
And for breakfast. So that's a good start of the day. After the rejuvenating breakfast, it was finally time to see the place we came here to see. We are now arriving at Arc de Bam, and I am very excited about visiting this place. It's been on my list for a long time. It's a huge fortress that can be traced back to 6th to 4th century BC. Salam. Yeah, the entrance fee for foreigners is 300 toman, so about $5. Merci. And this place is absolutely enormous. So we've been advised to...
You're not talking about me.
So we've been advised to spend like a big part of the day here, that it's gonna take a long time. A lot of the walls look quite new and polished. And the reason for this is, in 2003, most of this place was totally destroyed by an earthquake. One of the few places where the Iranian government actually has really spent money and worked on restoring it. A large part of the archaeological structures in Iran, they don't really care, they don't really maintain it too well. This place apparently spent a huge amount of time and money rebuilding it. This used to be the central square, and in all these little chambers there was commerce taking place. That was one of the main reasons for this fortress. It was located on the crossroads of the Silk Road, and it was both a place to stop and refuel and trade, but also a place of sanctuary inside the desert. It's about 10 a.m. and I think it's maybe 27 or 28 degrees. Still really hot, even in the winter. So the surrounding deserts, for instance, the Kaluts of Lut, temperature inside those, the summer can reach sort of 70 degrees Celsius. Talk about sauna. This is a place of severe historical importance and significance. 1,000, 2,000, 2,500 years ago, people still went to the toilet in the hall. One of the things the Bam is famous for, palm trees. I would love to have seen this place before the earthquake. Now we're approaching the main citadel, but it does make me feel really sad that I've not gotten to see this place in its former glory. If you were the governor of Bam, then this would have been your stable. Pretty cool stable to have. We chose a day after the weekend to come here. It was a good choice because we have the place all to ourselves. So far we have met, what, 4 people? It's incredible. 2,500 years ago, they built this city. For 2,500 years it stood. There have been different empires that came and went. Notably, it's been taken by the Arabs in about the 6th century. Afterwards, who was it?
Too many people. Pause the frame if you're interested. So these were
Barracks where all the soldiers were stationed. This part of the fortress is dating back to the early Islamic era. Considering the time period, this place had to have a pretty huge garrison. Because now we're used to the world population being so large, but back then the armies and the populations were much smaller. All of this being housing for soldiers, that was a pretty big garrison. And this is the path to the governmental palace, where all the important people, the governor, were also the last line of defense. I think trying to conquer this place would have been pretty hard. You have narrow streets that are easy to defend, uphill. As you can see, the reconstruction is still going on. As you can hear, I am pretty much out of breath. Hi. This looks like a part of the original structure. They've been kind enough to let me go inside, even though they're rebuilding. You can see the old wooden beams. Is there a way to go up? They have been kind enough to let us in through that. Ah, there's some tea. What a great place to have tea. Oh wow. Oh wow. Look at this view. How amazing is this? And how huge is this place? So glorious. And here we have Hans watching over his castle and his domains.
You can come on top.
Okay. Thank you, dear sir.
Just this one time.
Apparently, if people see me here, I guess they could get in trouble. So, we don't want that. This was such a cool place to see and visit, and we got very lucky. And that part is completely sealed off, so you cannot go in. We got to see the incredible view that the governor would have. Though when I tried to take the video of that, they were like, no, you cannot stand all the way on the edge because then you are visible. You cannot be here officially. We don't want to get them in trouble.
I wonder if some of the workers are living here.
It's possible. I think in Iran quite often you see people that live on the job or have some accommodation there when they're working on something like this. You can just see the extent of the damage was huge. This place was a mosque, originally dating to the early Islamic period. So I suppose that these are the parts of the original walls that have still been preserved. And this is part of the archaeological finds here. And you can see how they reconstructed the old pottery. So that is what this workshop is for. There's still a lot of ongoing reconstruction of the archaeological finds.
Sadly, we could not talk or film the archaeologists on camera.
This was an interesting visit, and we have kind of both agreed that place is really beautiful and really interesting, but really sad at the same time, because we keep imagining what it was like and what it would be like to see it before the earthquake. But 100% recommended to visit. So this is the Vakil complex, which apparently has not really been reconstructed much. And it used to be a tourist attraction prior to the earthquake. There was a bazaar, a small place to pray. Now there is a doggo that's got a hurt leg. And this part looks like it's been reconstructed. This, I'm not even sure what animal does this come from. Maybe a camel. It is quite frequent that you can buy food made out of camel meat in Iran. Oh, there's a part of a horn. A lot of animal parts around this place. If you're wondering, camel tastes pretty much like beef. At least the one place where I've tried it, if it was an actual camel. I don't know. It was a tourist place, so it might have just been a piece of beef, and they're like, oh, he's a tourist. He doesn't know. He doesn't know any better, which is true. This part has been reconstructed, but it doesn't really seem accessible. And it kind of appears as if they reconstructed this part and then they decided to give up and not do anything with the rest. Well, I guess it might have been a camel, looking at those scales down there.
Or a pretty ugly guy.
Huh. So these must have been baths once upon a time. It would be nice to find a way down there. Oh. There's a lot of garbage. It's kind of cool.
Same as everywhere else, there are also people with drug problems in Iran, so these places can be a bit scary.
This feels a bit more like urbex rather than historical exploration. Although to my knowledge, this place is very old. It's sad to see what happened with it. Yeah, there's more of those skulls. Look at those teeth. Those are huge teeth. Now I'm gonna have the enjoyable task getting back out again, because I carry the big backpack with a camera everywhere. Ouch. Always get dirty. Now, let's find some food. What are we eating, Hans?
Falafel.
It is our favorite version of lunch. Very cheap. It's like less than €1 usually.
Yeah.
It's tasty. It's not so heavy as eating meat, though.
Especially when it's prepared quite well and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, let's find out what is special about this falafel. And it might just be one of the best falafels I've had in Europe. What do you say, Hans? This is one of my favorite things about Iran. You can buy really amazing fresh produce everywhere. Just bought a pomegranate, which cost me 100,000 rial. That is about 13 euro cents per pomegranate, and they are so good, so tasty. And here is one of the local bazaar stores. Look at the colorful pasta. Very cool.
Okay, yeah.
Salam.
Yeah.
Italians are rolling their eyes, probably, but I would love to try it. Now it is time to take Hannes for some shopping. No, even in here, everything appears to be closed. Just walk through the bazaar. It's totally closed because it's middle of the day. You usually places open around 5. We hoped that this would be different, but it ain't. It looks like we're expecting a zombie apocalypse to start. Yeah. This is a cool place. Surprisingly, it wasn't even on the map. In every other city, mosques this size are always on a map and with a lot of tourists. But I guess here, Bam really isn't a very touristy place. This place is gorgeous, and there is not a single person here.
We're getting ready to set off for Zabul, which is the town at the border with Afghanistan, and Hans has been complaining constantly about his front tire. Turned out that when he was getting his tire changed, when they put it back on, they inflated it to about 60 psi, which of course is crazy high pressure, so hopefully this should make the ride a bit more enjoyable for him.
Today is about 500 kilometers today. It'll be a long day. It will bring us all the way to the border with Afghanistan. We will either cross the next day or take one day there to sort of sort out money, sort out insurance, sort out ourselves. It's time to hit the road. Today will be a long day, 500 kilometers through the desert. On, well, we will see what kind of road. Apparently there are almost no petrol stations between here and Zabul, but we should be good with the range that we have with our bikes. We have passed the 100k through the desert. Hopefully this time we can pass without being stopped and ID'd. Yeah, last time we passed one of these we got stopped and there was like a half an hour, 40 minutes long interview asking about our travel, about what my dad's name is, what do I do for work, whether I'm single, what is my shoe size, color of toilet paper do I like. I like it with a scent, and I know they're just doing their job, but it just takes too long.
I've had some problems with my rear tank not connecting properly, and we're both running dangerously close to being out of petrol.
Oh yeah. Sorry guys, do you have the card?
Turned out you need some sort of a special card to activate the machine, and we were trying to borrow one from someone, but we were not successful. Because of some sort of fuel rationing system, we can't get any petrol, and the locals don't have enough to share their cards with us. So at this point we're both on reserve and we're figuring out where the next petrol station is. We have already used our reserves and we're not quite sure if we can make it. The fun of being at a petrol station and not being able to get petrol. Yay.
We still don't have any fuel, but there hopefully should be another station like 60 kilometers from here.
Earlier in the day, my rear tank failed and I've had to use what spare petrol we've had already. Now we're running on fumes and going slowly, hoping we can make it. We're now very close to Afghanistan, and the locals warned us, do not stop in the desert, do not stop by the side of the road. Fingers crossed, we won't have to.
Well, we successfully made it to the next gas station and we took the wrong road. We got 5 liters here and they're telling us that we have to go to the next city and that we cannot get more. Search for fuel continues. We have finally found petrol. And I think we're taking it directly at the refinery. And the people were so nice that this time they didn't even let us pay for the petrol.
Yeah, sometimes the misfortune turns into fortune. They were so kind, it was just free. Now the big task will be finding a place to sleep, because the town where we're going, there is zero tourism. We have found something that maybe exists, maybe it doesn't. Well, the first place doesn't seem to exist. We're trying another one.
Like you get what you pay. Very simple. You showed me another one, but that no. Bed looked like if somebody died on it.
All right, yeah, we can check. See what happens. It is not exactly fun. Friendly local guy stopped and had a chat with us and decided to help us. And now he's showing us to this accommodation, which is like an eco village, and it's supposed to be like a nice traditional place, but also very cheap. The main problem was the first place there was no space to keep the bikes, and afterwards nothing was opened. Hi, nice to meet you. Hi.
Service, Mr. Right? We are now in our eco village accommodation. Eco village means that Hans does this.
Ecological, because I'm not cleaned.
And we sleep on the floor. But it's very lovely. The people are super nice. And most importantly, they brought me abgusht, which is this Iranian stew. And you have no idea how hungry we are, because we've had breakfast at about 8 a.m. Now it's about 8 p.m. and we have not eaten since breakfast. Very hungry. Let's eat. Yes. Good morning. It's a nice traditional place. At the moment we're having breakfast that consists of omelette and jam and cheese and fresh bread. It's delicious. Hans has just awoken and came from the bathroom, which is about 1 by 1 meter. So I think he was doing yoga for a long time. This is a traditional thing that you get everywhere in Iran, and it's sugar and saffron that you dip in your tea to make it sweeter. That's one way of doing it. Another popular way of drinking your tea is that they take the sugar cube, they put it in their mouth, and then they drink the tea, which makes my skin crawl. Very popular way. And the people are super nice. Apparently we're the first international visitors. And yeah. And I think in this city in general, because nobody really takes this route to Afghanistan. Yeah, it's kind of fun to break trail a bit. Well, fun start of the day. I thought my head bearings were slightly loose because I kept getting a click from the front, but it turns out I have a problem with the caliper. The pinhole in here and this one probably also are a bit screwed. And by a bit, I mean a lot. I've got 1,500 kilometers to Kabul through a lot of off-road. So, and hopefully I will manage to find someone who can bring me the parts from Europe to replace. My hand is not doing well at the moment. Fun start of the day, for sure. We're ready as we'll ever be. Now the guy who owns the hotel is driving with us to help us out refuel before we head for Afghanistan. We are about 35 kilometers from the Afghan border. It is a little bit late in the day. Hopefully the border crossing will go smoothly. I'm slowly learning to only use the rear brake, so I think that will mostly be my life now for the next 1,500 kilometers. Hopefully getting fuel. We'll see. We've managed to get fuel for one of the bikes, but there's some problem with the card, it seems. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Well, we need to pay? No. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. These guys were absolutely brand new and so kind. Our whole stay there was great. Now to spend our last Iranian money and buy some groceries.
They seem to be excited about the bikes.
So whilst Hans is shopping, I'm keeping an eye out on the bike, and we quickly became the local attraction. Unperishables can be kind of hard to find in Iran, and they're quite expensive. So usually we go for some cans and a bunch of nuts.
And those. More. Sorry.
Da, 10. Afghanistan.
Yes. Yes. Merci. Alright. Merci. Hans seems to be having fun. Thank you. We're arriving at the Iran border, and then is the Afghanistan border. Entering the lion's den, the country that we have all heard for God knows how long, about how dangerous it is. Foreign offices for Czech, for UK, for Germany, all advise against all travel to Afghanistan. So this is the big scary place, but we're going anyway.